start this journey, gentlemen?
Shit,
You mind if I do, or would you like to start it, sir?
No, start it. Come on.
All right. What's up? It's Andrea, and we have Spoiler Alert podcast today, and we're gonna be talking about why filmmakers do what they gotta do, and essentially gonna step into what our life has been like as filmmakers. So I think it's only fair that you know what we step into as filmmakers, so that y'all filmmakers can do whatever you got to do to achieve your goals. So on my right, we got the man Nate, the one, the OG, the man, the cleanest man out here. Ain't nobody notice him. He's just so fresh and so clean. And then we got Grandpa Mac. He be killing it. He be killing it. We had a very eventful 6-day experience. I met him 6 days ago, but we did what we has to be doing. So anyway, without further ado, Dustin, tell us how it is in the filmmaking world, sir.
Well, it's new to me. I've been doing the music since 2018. Shortly after Mac Miller died, I was like, fuck, what am I supposed to do now, man? Like, my favorite artist is dead. And then like a pile of the rest of my favorite artists shortly died after. I'm like, now what am I doing? Right. So I started like dabbling with like Ableton, which is a DAW, digital audio workstation. Mm-hmm. I don't even use it anymore. I don't use that one anymore. But then I moved on to Logic, Pro Tools, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Been making anything between hip hop, EDM. You see my EDM bangers last night. You're like,
you had your Skrillex kind of flows right there.
Yeah,
amazing things, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Only top quality sound in this house, sir. That's all I gotta say.
If you don't have, then what's the point?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Go.
As far as filmmaking goes, I've always had like a want to be in Hollywood. I don't know, just since I was a child, it was something that was coming to me in my dreams and shit. And like, it's, I don't know, like I come from a place outside of St. Louis a little bit, right? And then like when I went to high school, I ended up living in a town of 50 people. And the school that I went to was like 5,000, like as like the population of the whole town, not the school alone. So my graduating class was like 40. And like, you got this small ass little town, and you know, you have the career counselors and stuff, like they talk to you during, you know, your time and your process throughout the process of high school. Oh, what do you want to do, this and that? And like, ever since I was a child, I was like, I want to be in movies, I want to do music, this and that. I want to live in Hollywood. Like my dream car when I was a kid, this was like around 2008 to 2012, in between that period, my dream car was like one of those Chrysler 300s. I know it's kind of funny to laugh at now because they're not really that great, but like I thought that thing was the shit. And I was like, yeah, I want to live in Hollywood and have one of them, but I don't have one of those, but I have a nice car now. But I don't know, it's just like anytime I would tell them that, they're like, oh, that doesn't seem possible. You know, you're like, there's millions of people in this world, let alone that town. Like, you'll never make it out there. You'll never even get there. You're better off just working in a factory. And I'm like, nah, that's just not what I want to do with my life. Why would I just, you know, conform and just kneel to what they wanted right away? I'm like, don't get me wrong, I've done the factory job. So like, but like enough is enough of all that shit. Like I'm done with dealing with all that. Like I joined the army like as 100 pounds soaking wet. And I had to get like a waiver to even get in. They were like, hey, you're too skinny. Because like the Marines were like, nah, you're too small, man. Like, and then I had to get the waiver from the army. And the army was like, the day I was coming in to do the weigh-in and shit, they're like, here, take these pills. I'm like, what the fuck is this? She's like, it's gonna constipate you. You're gonna be constipated. And like, here's, they gave me like $100 just to fucking eat for 24 hours.
Wow.
And they're like, just keep sure you taking these pills and just eat as much food as you can. I made weight. I made weight though, but it's like I signed originally for 4 years and did 6. And it's, as an infantryman, it was a hard time. I never got to deploy, thankfully, even though the money would have been good. But like, I'm alive, so that's all that matters to me at this point. You know, like RIP to the ones that didn't make it back, you know, and all the sacrifices they made for everybody to have their freedom. Right. But it's 6 years, man. 4 years in Fort Campbell and then 2 over in Germany. Just a lot of experiences that, you know, that I may have that I like to remember with people, but at the same time, it's only a handful of my Army guys I still talk to, which kind of sucks because I love a lot of them, but like, they just kind of doing their own thing, and you understand in a sense.
No, that makes sense.
You served as well, so you know, I'm grateful for the GI Bill, and if it wasn't for the GI Bill, like I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, and like being able to express the things that I want to accomplish. And I feel like after leaving Florida and like experiencing the music school there at Full Sail, shout out to Full Sail, thank you so much. Shout out.
Yeah.
And then like experiencing the film stuff at the KDS studios, which is no longer a studio because that place was shady as shit. It got closed down. It fucking sucked, man.
Elaborate on how shady it was.
They weren't paying their bills.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why they got closed down.
Okay.
Fuck them. Sorry. But then after that got closed down, I was like, what am I gonna do? I had just got my degree.
Right.
And at the time I was dating this bad Puerto Rican girl, and she literally had me rap like this. And I'm just like, baddest chick I've ever been with. She cooked good food.
What kind of food is
Some delicious fucking Puerto Rican food, man. I got tostones and just everything, bro. It's just tostones.
You see the way you say it, you gotta be like tostones. The tostones.
But besides the point, like we kind of had a falling out. Like she wanted to go to Vegas for a fresh start after I got my degree, and I was like, bet, let's do it. So, you know, I was like, all right, well, got everything packed. We had some money saved up. And then we got on the road, and then my car started having issues in like Mississippi. And turns out my PCM was going bad. I was going like 70 down the road. And all of a sudden, my car decided to lose power. And I went from 70 miles an hour to 20 to nothing, and almost got hit by a semi. And like, I called her up. I'm like, cause she was driving her car. I'm like, look, like, we're gonna have to stop. We're gonna have to figure things out. My car's having issues. I'm sorry. Like, there's nothing really I can do about it. And she's getting all mad. I'm just gonna keep driving Vegas. Like, no, you're not gonna keep driving to Vegas. Like, we're going there together. We gotta figure shit out together. And then, you know, we stopped, got a hotel for the night, and started going up through my phone. I was like, look, after all these places I've called, there's no Ford dealership in town or anywhere near here within 100-something miles that's gonna let me bring this in, because they all had a waiting list for the warranty stuff to go through. So I was like, look, we're 6 hours from Texas, Dallas specifically, and I was like, I have some friends there. Let me make a few phone calls, and also let me see if I can get my feet wet in a studio. And she's like, okay, I'll let you do that. So called up a homie. I was like, hey, I know it's been years since I've seen you, but like, I'll be in Dallas in 6 hours. Click. I hung up, called a music studio, a couple of music studios around. It was like the third or fourth one I called. And I was like, hey, just finished a degree at Full Sail University. I have a music production degree in it. I understand sound engineering. I've been doing it for 2018, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, all right, man, send me some tracks. So I sent like 3 tracks.
Right.
And called me back. He's like, all right, I see you tomorrow morning. And like, that's when I felt like, man, if it was that easy in Dallas, I mean, I understand it's a little bit harder to get myself in a studio in a position out here doing what I was doing here compared to there, because here there's so much of it and it's really just oversaturated. So maybe like eventually, like with this film shit, you know, like the money that I bring back, you know, is gonna go towards my own studio, my own sorts. Like for now, like what we did the other day with us finding that spot and then renting out for a certain amount of hours without the engineer and just using me as the engineer, the $100 for 4 hours, that's not bad. That's a good deal. And like we can get more people in there, you know, and like I would love to keep working with more artists, because like this film stuff's cool, but I know this stuff more. And you know, I just want to, you know, like incorporate both as much as I can. And I'm excited to see where this film stuff goes. And like I have to battle anxiety a lot more than anything to even really be doing this like this. It's just like my brain's like, whoa, you
gotta get used to it.
You're feeling more comfortable now with this kind of stuff.
That's how it's supposed to be.
So
yeah.
I know I just rambled on forever. I'm sorry, guys.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like
Absolutely. That's what we're here for.
Exactly.
That's what we want to hear.
Yes.
That's all we want to hear. What's your story, my brother?
You got to bring your mic
All
up
right.
just to hear.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got somebody that can hear
Sound guy, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So it's so great. I love the fact that you're talking about like anxiety and then being comfortable, like overcoming that sense of nervousness and anxiety. I definitely can relate to that. So many times I was never comfortable in front of an audience in the way that I should be, in the way that I wanted to be. I grew up on a stage, so I was comfortable performing.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as I was doing some type of song or dance, it was totally okay, right? But if I had to actually speak in front of an audience, I wasn't as comfortable. I would often do some type of spoken word or recite some type of poetry for some purpose. But I never was able to do what I wanted to do, something like this, like a podcast. I was never confident in what I had to say. I didn't feel as if I was valid enough. Like, why would someone want to hear me? Like, what would be the purpose? And so once I started to realize that I'm okay, there's this person, I'm not sure if y'all have heard of her. Her name is Michelle A. I used to be uncomfortable with my voice. I didn't think it fit me the way it should, but what can I do about it, right? I mean, it doesn't fit, it's okay. It fits, it's good. But Michelle A went on a reality show and she said, and she sounds, very different from most people. And she said, I'm okay with my voice. My voice been good to me. So she have like these hit records that she's been able to sing, and then she's on a reality show and people made comment about her voice, but she's comfortable in her skin. So I really took that to heart, and I was like, if she can be comfortable with the way that she sounds, I think I can find the strength to be comfortable with the way that I sound. And I don't have to hide behind a song or a dance. I can be authentically myself and present that to the world. And I'm okay with the ones who may not like it. That's okay. I don't like everyone either, right? So why am I gonna dislike somebody who does the same thing that I do? So it's okay, it's fine. But I think it shouldn't be a hindrance, and it shouldn't stop you from doing something that you want to do. I would love to do something like a talk show in the future, right?
You're doing that,
right?
You're doing it, like you shouldn't,
absolutely,
bro. Like,
absolutely.
I don't mean to intercut or anything like that, but I feel like you should just feel comfortable doing whatever we want to do, and that's my whole ethos, bro. I just want to create an environment for people to do whatever they love to do as much as I love doing what I love to do. I feel like this whole podcast I should have introduced myself first. So this is a post thing. So this is what I'm gonna be doing since we're editing together. But I'm thinking then I have to introduce myself and then you know what I'm saying? So the editing room, just ignore all of this. This is the editing room, so we're gonna have to figure this out. But my name is Andrea, and my full name is Babalo Andrea Joshua Kokonga, and I'm from South Africa. And I am South African Xhosa. That's my traditional thing. So I'm 100% Xhosa. I do know Espanol. I do know French, and then I do know Xhosa and English. I am trying to learn way more languages, but yeah, that's not my story yet. I kind of grew up in a place where people always were scrutinizing everything I did. So everything I did all my life was always wrong. And this is before I found cinema, because I wasn't always into cinema. Before I was painting, ever since I was a kid, really. And just drawing some really interpersonal things, and expressing who I am as a human being. So that was what I always did, like all my life, really just trying to find a medium to overcompensate how I really feel. So like, you had my school experiences in like primary school, where I was like that cool kid, the gangster at the back, like, oh yeah, you're weird, the bullies, how the bullies are designed in like TV and stuff. I had my times where I was that cool kid, but then like through high school, I had to kind of like figure out who I really am. And that's when I knew like I'm an artist. So I started my journey in this art sphere, started out in poetry. So I started writing poetry right now, I've probably been writing poetry for 6 years. So poetry was what brought me into music. So then I used to write a lot of poems to get girls So that's a funny story. But I used to always write. I love writing. Everything within me was about writing. So then I stepped into expressing myself too. You know, I had my times where I felt like I'm not cool enough to be around people or whatever, or I can't be in that circle because I speak the way I speak, or I am the way I am, or I express my emotions how I express them. So I've obviously had like identity issues like all my life, really. So until I came out to LA, I really found who I am, because I'm far from everyone. I don't have family out here, so I'm the only one here in my family tree to be overseas. So I figure that's a very heavy thing. So me out here, I'm like, my success is not only mine, but it's their success too, and not only their success, but generations to come. So the only reason I want to contribute to cinema every day is because I want to be able to inspire kids that are not kids that feel the way I've been feeling. You know what I mean? So really, I love cinema as a device to just compartmentalize how I feel. But with cinema, it's everything to me, because, you know, there's a lot of things I've been going through, you know, being in LA. It's been the most horrendous experience, really. Like, I know people back home who would probably say, nah, I'm going back to Africa within months, like within a month. Like, I know like the people I grew up with would have left LA like long ago, but I'm here because it's like, I care about movies, you know?
I feel that.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, it's like I keep telling people, even for the podcast, I'm gonna be honest and transparent, as I like to tell people all the time, you know. It's the most difficult times ever, just going through shooting. You know, I'd go travel 4 hours to shoot one video. That would give me like $50. So, and that $50 I had to pay for like me getting back, all sorts of stuff. So essentially, like, you guys, for people watching this, I'm not living the most bougie life. I'm living a really hard life. So, but what pushes me here to sit down in this place to have this conversation is the fact that I want to be able to inspire someone else. So more than anything, I wish I had people that I could look at and say, if he did it, I'm gonna do it too. So I figured I'm gonna create that, that platform for people too. So ever since I've been in LA, there's people that are like 50, 60, 70, and then 40, and they're like, you know, I wish I did what you're doing right now. I wish I could make movies. I wish I could have that creative edge. And as I tell people all the time, all I want to do is just like express my ideas now. Like every single time, it's like, if I have an idea off the top of my head, I have to execute it. Because I know that time can be your best friend, but it can be your worst enemy too. Because it's in time you realize who's real and who's fake. And for me personally, it's like I've gone through so much like here and so much back home, and I'm gonna keep going through even worse. But as long as I'm filming, I'm happy. So now we're getting into music.
That's what's up. You talked about people that you like look up to. Who are those people that you look up to?
Well, Jordan Peele is the person who brought me into cinema. So yeah, funny story. So I was back home, saw that the motherland, and then it was during COVID-19, and I kind of had an existential crisis in the sense where I didn't know what I wanted to do, because there was times in my grades used to be terrible before I found like, oh yeah, I want to do this. So then this is before I got my GED. So my GED was like the moment where I was like, okay, I want to move to America and I want to study film. And then all of a sudden I became a straight A student. So I was like, oh, so I am a nerd after all. After all these years, you know, I used to get like 20%, 30%. Now all of a sudden it's like 95. And then my parents are just like, wow, we're used to this now. This is, you're just a nerd. And I'm like, yeah. Because I remember they used to tell me, like, if you can get 60% for this test, I'm telling you, I'm going to treat you. Bro, I've been getting 95s time and time again. They ain't give me nothing, bro. But, you know, that's shout out to my mom. I hope, yeah, you're listening. But, and then, so then COVID-19 came, so I'm sitting down. And then it was like around like 10 p.m., like late night, you know. I'm sitting down, and then I see this movie called Us, which is this 2019 film. Mm-hmm. And then essentially, for people that might not know, it's a film about doppelgangers essentially running into a tethered version of yourself, which was a company name that I came up with at first. I literally named it Tethered Rabbit Productions to Tethered Rabbit Productions to essentially broadcast the idea that in darkness you find the duality within, which essentially compartmentalized to A Night's Kiss, so everything comes full circle anyway. But that was the name because of that one movie. So then I'm watching this movie and then I'm realizing that, you know, this character is kind of going through seeing her other version and she's not really happy with her other version. She's trying to put that version away, right? So I figured it's the same thing with life too. There's always that like darkness that we try to shield and we say, well, I hate that side of me. You know what I mean? We all hate certain demographics of who we are, you know what I mean? So for me, I picked it up on cinema, like with Jordan Peele. That one film made me like really have like this whole like, wow, what do I hate about myself? Like, and who am I? And what am I? So then I started watching behind the scenes videos, like all of them. And then I saw Jordan Peele talking about movies, and it's full circle because I used to watch Key and Peele growing up all my life. So kind of seeing him making movies now, it's like, this guy's, he's it. So then after that, I started going into a huge spiral of cinema, and I studied films from like 1920 all the way to now, pretty much. And then I opened a film page, Goksoon Cinema, and in the film page, and Goksoon translates to the wailing. So it's named after a film that I watched in 2016, which is a Japanese film, also essentially going to what the message is of the brand, A Night's Kiss, the fact that in darkness you find spectrums of light. So everything really comes full circle, really. Everything I do, it just comes to, you know, that focal point. But yeah, anyway, I found the film and then I realized movies is everything I love. So back home, my hustle was I wake up at like 5 a.m. And then I had these books, I still have them. I brought them with me to America. I have to find them though, they're around. But I used to write these books to study cinema before film school. So I studied everything. I would walk like, it'll probably be like 20 miles or 10 miles equivalents to print one piece of paper. And that one piece of paper was like a scene. So then I'm studying the color, I'm studying like the focal points, everything. So that's how I used to study cinema before. And then I'll study about like, in that book, like I have pictures of like different directors and then them growing up, like autobiographies really. And I studied everything about cinema before I came to school. So then, this is all just because I'm like, Jordan Peele changed my life. He made me about movies now. So if he made me about movies, I'm gonna get into movies then. And then it was the journey of coming to America, you know, just like Eddie Murphy. Pun intended. But it was crazy because it's the hardest thing ever because you see like hundreds of people in that line and they all want to move to America. So there's a United States Embassy and I'm like waiting in this line, there's like 200, 300 people in front of me. And you see like a lot of people get rejected. They hold out like these orange cards. And that orange card expresses that they're not going to make it to go overseas. So I'm at the back of the line. You can't have your phones, so it's like a cult in that sense. You can't communicate with the outside world. You're there, and I'm nervous because it's like, damn, there's like so many people getting rejected, and I'm like, I do not want to be rejected.
Why would they get rejected?
It's a lot of things, like specifically with the United States, it's all about like, can you afford to be here? Or like, what are you coming here for? And like those kind of things. So people would be like, the United States Embassy would be like, you can't afford to be there, so you can't go. And then they really just shut you down like that, real fast. Like I know hundreds of people that want to be where I'm at right now. So that's why I know like it's a blessing to be here. Even though I've had my misfortunes and I still do, it's like, at least I'm here. So, you know, millions of people around the world want to be crossing the border, but they can't because there's something that's stopping them. But yeah. Craziest experience. I'm standing in the line and then I'm standing and I'm seeing so many people like get emotional that they're not gonna make it, and I'm like, I don't know nothing about this. I'm literally I don't know, like I just went there and I spoke to the guy, and then as soon as I started speaking I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to America to study movies, and you know, I gave him the whole talk. I was like, yeah, I'm all about movies, And yeah, pretty much I forgot one major thing, like one of the ways that I were gonna cover like paying and all that. So then it was like, then I had to email. Then I was scared to email because then that means that it's gonna be a longer process. You know, the emails, the junk folder and all that. And I was like, okay, I'll email it to you. And then I went outside, I emailed it ASAP, and then 2-3 days later I got my passport with the US stamp on it. I'm like, damn, so I'm really going to America now.
Yes, you going.
It is the craziest feeling in the world, man. I was like, I'm officially going to America.
That's awesome.
And yeah, really, the flight experience is amazing though. You know, it's LA is the first place I've ever been to overseas. So it's a fun fact, yeah.
LAX?
Yeah. So this is how it was. So we flew from from Johannesburg, where I grew up. I grew up in Johannesburg, the city of gold, which is what it's called. And anyway, so I grew up there, and then what am I saying? I'm not talking about backstory. So back to the story that I'm talking about now. I was talking about growing up there. So we flew from Johannesburg to Paris. So I'm seeing Paris for the first time. I'm in that airport. I'm like, ooh, just yummy in Paris and everything, you know, cozy in Paris. And I was by myself because my parents are like back home and everything. So I'm like, cool. I'm experiencing Paris for the first time ever. Greatest feeling ever. Like we're literally just in the airport, just sitting there, standing there. That's all it was.
You said who are you with?
By myself.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm here by myself, dude. I don't know family like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So literally I was like in that plane. And I was like, I have a goal here, and kind of have to go to America by myself, like with everything, you know, I have to take care of myself. So it's been tough, you know what I mean?
So how did you, I know we're talking to you about your experience, but
Right.
it's kind of cool. So just know that, how did you get started? So you get off the plane, you got an acceptance letter to go to
the
film
whole
school, but how
US.
do you even start? Like, what's your first month in this country?
First month was more so like I chilled with my friends that I've networked with online. So I did network with a couple of people because I wanted to be smart about coming to America. I didn't want to just come here not knowing no one. So I kind of had my friends, and then we chilled up in Uplands. So shout out to Ariel and Jake. But yeah, those are the first people I chilled with from here, yeah. And then we literally just connected that same time, and then we made this whole anthology series that I've kind of been building on ever since. Like the anthology series is called Monochrome Dreams. So
what do you mean anthology series? I haven't.
Okay. Let me just explain it. So an anthology series is like Guillermo del Toro's The Cabinet. So what it is like, I know a perfect reference point. Rod Serling's Twilight Zone. You see how that was done? With like hundreds of episodes, basically.
So you're talking about like some movie, TV shows?
So yeah, so like basically,
shot something?
Yes. Yeah, so what we did, we just shot like basically just test footage, and then we shot the test footage, and then I got in my editing bag, and I was like, it could be test footage, but it could also be a story.
Is that something that like we can see?
Yeah.
Like it's on the website, it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube at A Night's Kiss. Yeah.
Why do you keep talking to the camera? We right here.
Well, I mean, the camera's gonna in the cut. The camera's gonna in the cut though. That's all it was. But I mean, I'm thinking about the editing standpoint. Okay,
we got like all these angles.
Facts.
I'm talking to you.
What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras.
6, maybe. I don't know. Then there's the cameras in the car, and then there's the cameras in the.
We do. Like we got so many cameras in here. Y'all got one sitting on a chair.
Right. So the question was.
Yeah. Just want to know like how we can see that footage. Like
it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. So the whole thing was like, my philosophy is like, how do you create a story out of nothing?
Yeah.
And I love just doing that, and I had the best fun in terms of the sounds. I love sounds, really. In cinema, that's like my favorite part, really, experiencing the sound from the speakers. And you have really good sound, and you're sitting in the theater and you're just immersing yourself in that experience. That's a top experience for me. So sound is everything. So anyway, I'm just like adding different sounds to it, and then it sounded really amazing in the end. And then my friends added they added their sauce too, and then it became something. I was like, you know, guys, we could make this something to create for different people too, to also just make their own monochrome dream. And essentially, monochrome dream is just it's also, again, tying with the Night's Kiss, this whole darkness thing. It's all because I'm just really trying to be optimistic in a sense. So I know people they see horror as like, oh, horror is dark, it's terrible. But for me, it's like, well, when you go through horror as an actual person, how do you define that?
Right. So what does it look like?
How does it look like, exactly? So that's how I created a whole series. And essentially, there's a lot of writers right now that are just writing scripts for it. So it's cool.
That's so awesome.
Then I made the animation. Dude, this whole trip to America has been crazy, actually. Yeah, I'm thinking about it now. Like, I've never actually sat down and said, damn. Like, yeah, because I'm even trying to say, like, then what happened? Like, the sequences of it all.
Your phone is texting, going off. But it's okay, though.
It's all right.
What up?
He said he gonna go in there, so the phone call. I like it. You know, while you're having that conversation, what I did want to ask you was, how do you create stories?
How do I create stories?
We need it. We got a film.
It's all right.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all about to leave?
Yeah, I got. Well, you can. I got the host got to leave. Got a film.
Can y'all get 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
All right. I want to hear how you make stories. How you create stories.
So creating stories itself. I've only been like experimenting with scripts only the last few months.
Yeah.
So storytelling itself, like within music sense, it's more of really pulling out the true emotions that I have encountered in my life. And I know with my music, my biggest thing is to get people to be comfortable with who they are and to be able to express, how they truly feel, as well as like chase the things they want. So like, I guess it's a little off topic because I like horror. And I have like a horror thriller that I'm writing. I don't want to give out too many deets, but I guess if we could take off of what I have experienced off of that, but based it, in that same area, kind of same concept, but just then added something different. I don't want to really spoil it too much because I don't want to give that much information away, but it's a couple that are going to Las Vegas. Funny thing is, we told the thing about Las Vegas earlier, but I actually ended up going home because of that. When we were in Dallas, she ended up leaving me. She wouldn't work. I was gone for 14, 15 hours a day, working my ass off. And she was like, "Why are you not got enough time for me?" I don't know. And then I had some family die, like my aunt and my cousin, R.I.P. I went back home. I was kind of like lost for a little bit. Was in a shitty 1-bedroom fucking studio apartment, and there was holes in the wall from the people before. It was cold, the heat didn't work, and then like the plumbing was so bad I had to plunge my fucking bathtub and all my sinks just to even drain my bathtub, because the bathtub water and the piping for some reason would fill both my kitchen and my bathroom sink with water. I'm like, what the fuck? And I just got tired of it. Like, the landlord was shitty. I was like, the last month I was there, I was like, look, dude, like, I'll give you half the rent money right now. I'll give you full when you come fix this shit, because this is not livable.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I'm just tired of you complaining about this and that. It's like, bro, like, this is not livable. It's fucking the end of winter. I'm freezing my ass off. I'm not even sleeping in my own bed. I'm going over and sleeping with my neighbor. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me warm during them times, girl. Anyways.
It's your time. You got
Yeah.
But anyways,
I'm stand up right now, so.
I've always really been like intrigued with filmmaking and movies itself, mainly because of my grandmother. Most of my childhood we would go to like the theater quite a bit, like a couple times a week with my Aunt Bev, with my grandma, and we'd go out to eat. And she was always like so obsessed with like John Travolta and many other great actors, and she's like, you could do it, and like always kind of like putting that in my head that I maybe one day should try this stuff out. And she died like a few months ago, back in June, and the same day she died, I was on the phone with LA Film School And a week later I was there. So it's partially for her, not just for my sake. But as far as the storytelling goes, with the scripts and stuff, it's based off of people I see. Like when we're out in Hollywood, like right, even now recently, like I'm very observant in these clubs and places, and I'm paying attention to people, and I'm trying to like soak in characters and get into ideas. So like basically, most of my storytelling is based off perception of, you know, experiences and the people that I see, and kind of just base those ideas off that. So like the fact that this couple is going to Las Vegas and then like they're arguing this and that, and a car breaks down. That's where I stole that idea from, because in a sense it happened, but I wasn't there in Vegas.
Yeah.
And then like this tow truck driver comes, you know, after a couple hours, picks them up, and then tries to kill them and rob them. And then like it's a whole sequence of them like struggling to survive, and then boom, the tow truck driver crashes the truck. He flies through the windshield. They get knocked out unconscious. They wake up, he's gone, and that's all I'm saying. I can't really release much more.
It's all right.
That's a little teaser.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's up. So I appreciate this time that we've had. I guess
I hate that it had to be cut.
Yeah, I think
I'm nervous because I'm
finish it
performing
off.
stand-up, so.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, look, I guess we're gonna go ahead and end it, get all our files. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, no
This
problem.
was good stuff.
Or if anything, we could
Yeah.
finish that and then pull up again.
Yeah, that's
Because that could also work too. Like we could literally just have a part 2 tonight too. It's just a work thing, you know. I didn't mean that.
Oh no, it's good. I mean, we got like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
so
we do.
good.
We do.
So we can cut off the audio.
Okay. I just want to make one more announcement though for everybody. Just
On the audio.
Yeah. So did you cut these cameras off? Hopefully not. Don't.
They don't know. We're
Okay.
not cutting.
But anyways, is like with the storytelling, like both within film and music, I just hope it goes somewhere. And like this man right here, like he's getting me more comfortable with like my flow. He's helping me with my flow, because my flow's been terrible for a while. And this man's like, you're just like too much in your head, because I've had so much criticism in my life that's like, oh, this and that. Like, you know how the army is, you know, like they treat you like shit, make your brain feel like you're like shit, and then they make you feel like you're a child. And it's like all those years, it just gets piled in my head, and I'm just like, just not confident in myself. And when I'm by myself and I'm doing these things, and it's just like, oh, I'm just rushing the flow. I'm going too slow. I'm being too aggressive. And he's like, nah, you do it this way, and he stepped me through step by step. But Friday we're dropping another music video. We already just dropped one. You can catch it on YouTube at A&K.
Yeah.
On the YouTube page for that. But we're dropping another music video on a collab on a track we're working together, and I just want to put that up there as well. And I hope you're ready for a little bit of go ahead and tell them.
An A&K experience.
What's the name of it, bud? What? You remember the name, right?
Oh, the film? You mean the music the song we dropped in?
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
There you go. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I appreciate your time, Nate. And I'm sorry that we're cutting.
Again, I'm so sorry we had to cut, bro.
No, it's good.
Really?
We got enough.
Yeah, but
It's good having y'all.
I'm gonna go ahead and drop these files to you.
All right.
All right.
Sweet.